Hey people, I found some funny shit here. This reserved a portion of the Lawgiver, gonna blow your mind, and administer judgment, justice, that's gonna blow your mind. It's gonna give us a good definition for all these words. But I was looking for this word here, rosette, the first. The first time it comes up in Genesis 10:10 in the same line with Babel. The language of Babel was the problem. And this word before it, this mammal, cut, that's the word that was in the book of Daniel. They were saying was language in words. The words cut. That's usually the word they'll say is written, KT. The words cut to. And then it comes up a bunch of times with the diamond on it at the beginning of lines. And so I went to look for the last time it used in the Torah. Here in Deuteronomy 33:21 is where I was fixing to read. But what caused me to look into this word, I was going to do a movie on all these symbols, all these directional symbols, and I got to thinking, I got to give them a name sometime, and I thought I'm going to go to the beginning of the Bible and I'm going to name all these marks for the word that they found in first. And here is a brachet, or in rosette. And this is this little angle here is a bara, and the little upside down epsilon here is a lies. And so this one turns the other way, and it's a et, and it's like the beginning of creation. You had the rosette and the et, the brachet and its feminine counterpart, the et, same as in the Egyptian language. And then the first time that the diamond comes up is in the second line. I was going to call it a whereas. And then when the little curve comes up above, it's at 2. And so it made me think, the first person reading this is the first time they use all these signs in a language. You would just read it straight through like you would think. And so the first letter you see is the B, and that makes me think, ancient letter B, that was 2. If something starts with a 2, it means you missed number 1. Go back up and look at number 1 again. And here it would be the beginning, and look at it a little closer, it's the V, the vegening, to feed it. It's the same word that they say this in rosette is, beginning. And so if you just read this straight through, in rosette, bearer, this is where your word barrel come from. The barrel lies. That movie yesterday I was showing you how this seemed to be more than knowledge to me, something that could be learned. And that's where the end of your word analyze come from, analyze. In the barrel eyes is like when you're looking through a telescope or a microscope, you barrel eyes. In the rosette, barrel eyes. Attest, to witness, and the T, is the writings, to write it down. Attestum is what hears, to write down what you hear. And so you're either looking through a microscope into the atom, or you're looking into a telescope into the sky, but you're barrelizing. And so that's why, I knew that this was a separate word, receipt, on the first time you read it. Then the second time, is with the directional markings, but you didn't know that at first. And so I looked in my older Bible, and up to 1, there's a title word up here. They tell us means the writings of light, and a picture of a star, and then this word here, and it's sperm, S-P-R-M, and then the O, like I tell you in the Greek, it means of, the sperm of, and S-E-V, where your word receive comes from, to consume life in, the receiver. And the sperm of receive, is the Father. That's the word for the Father right there. The sperm of receive. And then this rosette. And so I thought I would cheat, and go to the last place in the Torah. And that's always where I get my best clues, to get a better idea what the rosette means. And you could tell that the Romans kind of sided with the Greeks when they said, that a tessimis was the heaven. But yeah, a tessimis, is woman is there to attest, to write it down, to a testament, to a tessimis, what hears. And what he's hollering at her, she's writing down. So I'm sure I'm going to get back into that, but this is that last time it's used in the Torah, the first 5 books. And you can see it proves my theory on the language, and he provided is the way, why, how, or who, and then you're, who you're, the one provided. And you can see why that first line started with beresit instead of is it. The air is hit. And so who your air is hit, look is Lukis, and then es. The Lucas is self. And so where your errors hit, is Lucas. Lucas is the bringer of light in Latin. It means learn from your mistakes. Where your errors hit brings the light. Lucas. Look. Lukis. Look is where your errors hit. Go look at them and then readjust your sights. Learn from your error is what that means. But it's talking about some people, a group of people here, and it's who your errors hit. The SH, the errors, and the HIT, where they landed, where it hit. To look is, to bring the light, to learn from, to look is, and this final M pronounces the S, and that reads with this, the self, the bring the light self, and then TM, time, the time, huff, the huff is spoon, the huff a spoon, the self-time huff a spoon, a portion of a lawgiver was reserved. We say lawyers, all they do is sit in their office snorting cocaine. They do that on their self-time, on the self-time, TM, the mark from, and your mark from is a mark from time. That's what the astrology is all about. Tell where the planets and stars are, and it gives a mark of time. Your self-time huff a spoon. But it ain't finished ragging on them yet. And then how it, and then Arasey, how it Arasey as, and that's where your word erase comes from, on the head of your pencil. That's probably where that comes from. How it Arasey as. And then the X, TS, it's ITS, it's duffed, DFT. It's duffed. If you golf and you swing and you take a big piece of earth out, but your ball goes 90 degrees off in the parking lot and hits a car, you duffed it, and sometimes they mistake and they erase as it's duffed, as it's mistake. And it's also, it's stuffed. The D also replaces the TH, they interchange, as it's stuff. And you see it in all the German words that start with D that we use a TH. And it's stuffed. It's stuffed you hose, HOSE. And it's mistaken you hose, and it's stuffed you hose. That's still what they do in Parchment down here in Mississippi. You go to prison and they issue you a hoe. It's stiffed you hose. And they tell you to hoe a row of sweet potatoes. And when you want to hear your case, if 2 kids run to grandma whining, if she's going to hear the case, she says, hey, whatever I say goes. And that's what this says. And his judgment with Israel is tuum sep, S-S-P, the sep is where your word accept comes from, and tuum, two vowels, and them, sep, pit, the P reads twice, S-P-P-T, the sepit, to accept what, and then the T-H, what, who. You have to accept what, who, as is rule. Whatever I say goes, If I'm going to hear your case, the two of them have to accept what, to, as is rule. What I say is going to be final, no more arguing. So this is the last 4 lines of the second to the last chapter. And you can see it's talking about like the God of Jeshurun who rides the heavens to help you. And to help you is berserk. The old berserkers, that was these warriors, these mercenaries you would hire, and they would fight naked because they let you know they're killing everybody that has clothes on. So, in order to not kill any allies, y'all better stay away from the naked man because he's stabbing everybody that gets close. That's a berserker to help you. But in the other Bibles, it's not in, none of this is in paragraph form. It's all in parable form where you read the line single, the several ways. And you see the ending mark was up here. They're skipping a couple lines before this one. And that's why this is starting with ain. So I'm going to read these 6 lines here and get back to this and see, of Jeshurun who rides the heavens to help you. And more about why this says is rumor receives, of rumor receives him is. The one who receives the rumor is the one who's riding the heavens and to help you in berserk. But I'm going to read these 6 lines and get back to this.
Don't forget, hooty-hoo, I won't forget.
Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.